Hello. All right, so today we are talking about the surprising reason you can't focus. So as folks are coming on, I want to know, or if you're watching the live on replay, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or IGTV, I want to know, do you, in fact, have trouble focusing? I think you probably do if you're here. I know that recently we surveyed our community, and the number one challenge that folks are having when it comes to growing their businesses is that they are having trouble focusing, or they don't know what to focus on. So if you are having trouble focusing or you don't know what to focus on, just let me know right here in the comments so I can give you a shout out. So hello for everyone who's joining in. Welcome, Rebecca. Yes, I see you. Bohem, Heart of Gold. Hello, Sage and Lavender Smoke. Hello. So yeah, this is real. And I've certainly had times when I've had trouble focusing in the past as well. And so here's what the world tells us. The world tells us that if we want to focus, we need the right time management system. If we want to focus, we need to be more disciplined. Hello, the Origin Company. If we want to focus, we need to be more motivated. We need to, use all of these products, supplements to get ourselves focused, which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of supplements and essential oils and all those things. So I'm not knocking those things, and it doesn't mean it doesn't work. However, so Lori's saying, I have so many ideas, a blog, a podcast, masterclasses, evergreen courses. Where do I begin? So that feeling of overwhelm, that not knowing where to focus. How many folks who are here right now think that the reason they can't focus is because they have too many options, or because there's something wrong with them? I really want to know, do you think that the reason you can't focus is because you're not disciplined enough and there's something wrong with you? I know there's been a lot of folks talking about adult ADD or adult ADHD and how do we work with that, and I don't have that. I'm not going to speak to that specifically, but I do know that the conversation around focus is trending right now, and so I'm so happy that you're here to have it with me. Yeah, so Frelutzlive.dream says, yes, I always thought there was something wrong with me. So Rebecca is sharing that, she sort of got the message, or they sort of got the message that it was something wrong with them. And yes, Pastry Studio is saying something wrong with me. So here's the deal, right? Ali Zen is saying, yes, I thought I wasn't disciplined enough to get enough done. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so real. Anytime there's, we are feeling like, okay, there's a cultural standard, like there's a standard for success and it's up here and I am not meeting it. There's this idea that there must be something wrong with us, right? Like if I'm not able to focus, it must be because I'm not smart enough. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm just not enough. Like there must be something wrong with me. But here's what I want you to know. There is nothing wrong with you. Take that in. If you're not able to focus right now, there is nothing wrong with you. And I'm going to tell you why. There is a reason you can't focus, but it's not because there's a flaw. It's not because you were born missing something. It's not because you're not disciplined enough. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's not because you are lacking something that somebody else has, like those other people on Instagram or those other people in your mom group or those other people in your networking group. They seem to be able to focus. So what's wrong with me? If I'm finding myself scrolling, finding myself getting up a million times a day to get snacks or do my laundry or do anything other than sitting here. Yes, Vegan Keegan, you are enough. Vegan Keegan and everyone else here, we are enough. But here's the deal. We live in a world with so much information coming at us. And I know you're here with me right now. I'm so grateful that you're here. And I am information coming into your space. And I take that so seriously because I know that your time is precious and I know that your attention is precious. And the fact that you are here listening to this right now means you are committed to investing in living your best life. and doing your best work and making a mark on the planet, and also committed to feeling good at the same time, because you sacrificing your well-being on the altar of success is not a net positive. That's a net negative, right? So we live in a world that is overwhelming with information. There are so many channels, literally and figuratively, that we could be tuned into at any given moment. Right now, you're tuned into this one. And while you're here, why not be fully practicing being fully here? But I'm going to tell you why that's really hard, right? So you're listening to this right now, and you also may be feeling like, I'm also going to check my email. I'm also going to see what's going on down the street. I'm also going to do this other thing on my computer. But here's the deal. The reason that it's hard to actually just stay and focus is because we have a nervous system. Our nervous systems are trained to be distracted, because we have become accepting of or become used to being distracted all the time with technology, with the shortened commercials, with the way TikTok turned us into people who are like, we can focus for 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I'm not on TikTok, but that's just like an example. Instagram Reels, right? Like quick. We are addicted to the stimulation because our nervous system is in a heightened state. Now, I learned from Dr. Valerie Rain, who is an amazing woman. She wrote a book called Patriarchy Stress Disorder, that no matter how much mindset work we do, we cannot overcome our destructive habits, so-called destructive habits. I'm going to tell you why they're not actually destructive in a minute. We cannot overcome our destructive habits because our so-called destructive habits are actually trauma responses that live in our body, and they are our unconscious way of trying to keep ourselves safe. So for example, if you, and PS trauma, let's just do a quick. Trauma is situations that happened to us, little t traumas, so small things, big T traumas, big things that we were not, that overwhelmed us in the moment, and we could not mount an appropriate response because we were children, because, systemic inequities, because of so many different reasons. So we have our little T traumas. We have our big T traumas. I'm so glad this is resonating, Bohem Heart of Gold. I'm sure, let me know if it's resonating for other people. We have also our collective traumas. So the collective trauma is seeing other people who are in your same identified group. So seeing other women of color, seeing other LGBTQ people, seeing other people who are like you in a self-identified way, suffering traumas, that sets up a message, an unconscious message in our bodies. I am also not safe. Because that person is safe who identifies like me, I am also not safe. So that's collective trauma. And then there's ancestral trauma. So ancestral trauma is the traumas that live in our DNA, in our cellular memory, that didn't happen to us in this lifetime, but they were passed down to us. Yes, Lucy Tobias, this pandemic would be a collectively traumatic experience that we're all experiencing in different big T and little t trauma ways. And that's living in our bodies, right? So these experiences, are ancestral trauma included, is when, for example, something happened to your great grandmother and that fear still lives in your body, and your body still has a trauma response to it. Even though you're not conscious of it, you probably won't ever find out what happened specifically to your great grandmother, but you have for example, I used to have this irrational panic that would set in at sunset. So in my mid-20s, I started getting this panic happening at sunset every night. It didn't make any sense. Of course, I was safe, right? And so then we have these things happen where it's like, every time I go live, or I can't go live because I freeze. Can anyone relate to that? Hi, Hannah, thanks for being here. Let me know like what else. Tell me in the chat, what do you find yourself habitually struggling with as it relates to your business or things in your life that you find yourself doing over and over again, regardless of like what new habits you have tried, or what kind of mindset things you've worked on, just let me know. I know that for some people, it is not being able to end a business relationship because there's like a fear, an irrational fear that either they won't be safe or the other person won't be safe. Or, okay, so putting myself out there, that's a very common one. It's Deanno. All right, it's Deanno. Putting myself out there. Yes, huge one. Okay, so when it comes to putting yourself out there, think about your real lived experiences of putting yourself out there and how that may not have been met with like beautiful praise and love in the past. And then think about the other people you've seen who you identify with, and you've seen them not be safe putting themselves out there, right? Like I know for myself as a woman, I see other women putting themselves out there and I see them being canceled. I see them getting flack. I see them, I see them being technically like not safe, maybe not physically, and also sometimes physically not safe. Like sometimes it's like, oh, you're not safe because you're getting a bunch of negative comments on social media. That does trigger a real trauma response of I am not physically safe, because your body doesn't know the difference. But there are cases where I've seen people put themselves out there and literally not be safe. And then we think about the layers of our ancestral trauma, right? So if I think about the women in my lineage, and has it been safe historically to be a powerful woman who puts herself out there? No, it has not. The witch trials were very recent in the grand scheme of recorded time. This is all very real. Hi, Rosalia, consent parenting, great to see you. And so if you struggle with putting yourself out there, and if you struggle with, I know we're talking about focus, if you struggle with focus, putting yourself out there, confidence, completing things, there's nothing wrong with you. There is an unexpressed memory, an unhealed memory, and a pattern happening within your body that is trying to keep you safe. Because if you are not able to put yourself out there, there is a very wise, deep part of you that thinks it's doing the right thing by trying to keep you safe, by not putting yourself out there, because you have so much freaking evidence historically and in your body that it's not safe to put yourself out there, right? So what do we do about this? What do we do when we want to put ourselves out there, when we want to focus and we find it's not safe? By the way, for the focus one, if you're finding you can't focus, it is because your nervous system is fried, right? And there is a part of you trying to keep yourself safe, because if you focus and if you do what's needed to be done to get your work done, you know that you'll become more successful. And no amount of mindset work, no amount of trying to overcome that on the level of the conscious mind is going to tell your body, is going to convince your body that it's going to be safe when you put yourself out there and when you become this wildly successful, bright, shining star that you know you were meant to be. No amount of talking yourself, I just paused there for a minute. No amount of talking yourself into a mindset strategy or like some kind of productivity hack is going to convince your body that it's safe when every lived and collective and ancestral memory it has says it is not safe to be seen. It is not safe to put myself out there. It is not safe to focus on my work, because I need to be hyper vigilant for all of the unsafe things that might happen in the world. Like I need to be checking the news. I need to be checking social media. I need to be hyper vigilant to make sure that nothing is going to come into my space energetically or literally that's going to harm me. Okay, so then what do we do about this? What do we do about the fact that we have unconscious programming trying to keep us safe that's not actually keeping us safe? It's keeping us small. It's keeping us unfocused. It's keeping us distracted. It's keeping us overwhelmed. It's keeping us from putting ourselves out there. But it's not actually helping us move towards our goals, even though it thinks it's helping us. It's it is very wise programming to keep us safe. It's just not what we need right now. Because what we need right now is the ability to get our work done in a way that doesn't drain us, right? So I'm curious, do you know what to do about it? Do you know what to do about the fact that through all of our personal lived experience traumas, our collective trauma, and our ancestral trauma, that we have programming running, whether we like it or not, that is trying to keep us safe, that prevents us from doing many of the things that we want to actually do, like be focused or like put ourselves out there. Do you know what to do? Okay, so this is interesting. So Kit says, do it scared. Like, so that's what we've heard, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Just rip off the Band-Aid. Like, throw your kid into the deep end of the pool and they'll figure it out, right? Okay, so Lori is onto something here. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for being here. So here's the thing. I personally, knowing what I know about the nervous system and what we practice in my Origin membership, Body First, I personally do not believe that just doing it scared is the best way to go. I believe in nervous system healing, because when we heal our nervous system, we don't have to plow through our boundaries and re-traumatize. Oftentimes when we just feel the fear and do it anyway, we plow through all of the fear signals and then we re-traumatize ourselves and we become more and more numb and dissociated. And it actually entrenches the patterns of trauma responses that we have. So what do we do instead? We heal the nervous system. Now that's like a whole bigger conversation, and I'm going to be giving you some specific anatomy tips and some specific how-to tips, including really getting into the vagus nerve. We're going to talk about it on the live workshop that I'm teaching this week. So on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm teaching a live workshop called The Productivity Myth, 3 easy tactics to focus on the right things so you can grow your business without burning out. Now, one of those tactics is your nervous system. So it's the 3rd in the workshop, and I would love for you to join in that workshop. It's completely free, and I always pack a punch. That's a bad example. That's a bad, I always pack a goodie bag, right? There's always so much delicious content that you can apply and take home with you. So you can go over to, it's www.originmembership.com/workshop. And you can join in that workshop completely for free. And I will walk you through some of these nervous system healing tips. And then I will also tell you about how we incorporate nervous system healing into the Origin membership. Because if you really want to learn to get focused, it's actually not about learning to get focused. That's kind of like the spoiler alert. The productivity myth is that if we just fit more into our days, we'll get more done. That's the big lie. The big lie is, if you just try to figure out the Tetris of your schedule and get it all to fit properly, and you'll be able to fit more in and you'll be more successful. That's the lie. The truth is, it's not more complicated than that, but it's more subtle than that. And it has to do with your body. And so we're going to get into how do you work with your body to unlock your optimal, true productivity. And when I say productivity, what I'm really talking about is your creative power, your creative genius, the work that you were meant to do to leave your mark on the world, what you're bringing in terms of your calling and your gifts that is the very medicine that the world needs right now. Because I believe we were all put on this earth at this time because we're supposed to bring a specific medicine. We need you right now. And we need you operating from a whole, healed nervous system so that you can be creating from a place of wholeness instead of depletion. And so that your work and your productivity, the things that you do in the world are not a trauma response. I don't want your productivity as a trauma response. We need you in your wholeness, feeling calm and complete and showing up from a deep well of resources. And so that's what I'm going to be teaching on Wednesday, is how to do that. And then you'll also hear about the Origin membership, which is where we gather together to grow our businesses while doing less. So practical business strategy, like how to start and grow your podcast, how to launch a digital course, how to write magnetic copy. So you get all your business how-tos, but you also get monthly body first calls, monthly central nervous system healing calls, cyclical planning, cyclical living, how to organize your workflow around your menstrual cycle or around the lunar cycle. So it's rich. There's a lot of elements. And I'm curious, does anyone have any questions before we wrap it up? So let me know in the chat. I see we have a lot of folks on. I'm so glad that you joined in, because the world, what we need is for more people to be living in their bodies, right? At the end of the day, like we are a pretty disembodied world. And I think where we are at this particular time in history is a symptom of being an incredibly disembodied, disconnected world. Like we're disconnected from our bodies. We're also disconnected from the body of Mother Earth, from the collective whole of the fact that we are part of nature itself, and we are born from Mother Earth, and the body of the earth is our mother, is our original mother. And we need to get back in touch with that. We need to get back in touch with that. And the way in that we practice, and the way in that I found that works for me, is the nervous system. And once I started healing my nervous system, I didn't have trouble focusing anymore. And if I do have trouble focusing, I know that I don't need to just try harder. It's not about discipline. I know that my body is calling for some healing, and that if I offer that healing, if I offer some kind of nervous system healing to my body at that time, then I'll be able to focus, no problem. Yes, there will be a recording of the workshop. So if you can't come live, sign up anyway and you'll get the replay. But if you join in live and you do make it live, I'm going to give you a special gift. And that special gift is our Do Less Your Tech guide. So our Do Less Your Tech guide is pre-vetted, curated resources of software and equipment that my husband and I have personally tried and used or recommend. We've been in the online business world for over a decade, and we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and so many hours trying out and testing different software and different equipment. And I don't want you to have to do that. We already spent the money. We already spent the time. So you'll get your Do Less Your Tech guide when you join the workshop live. So when you join the workshop live, I'll give you the link to get the Do Less Your Tech guide. So do whatever you can to be there live. I hope I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for joining in today. Such a rich conversation. There's so many other places we can go with this, and we will go there. We will go to all those places on the workshop. So originmembership.com/workshop. I will see you there. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.